All right, we got a very special guest joining us right now. It's actually someone I've been looking to get here on ATG Radio for a while now. He's a British boxing superstar, super flyweight prospect, and if you don't know this guy, then you don't know nothing. You know, as Roger Mayweather said, you don't know shit about boxing. This is one of the most charismatic and colorful characters in the world of boxing. I wish more fighters would be more like him. He's the king of the walkout. That's right. Nobody does entrances better than him. He owns it today. He's the champ. And without further ado, Usman, Uzzy, Ahmed joining us right here on ATG Radio. Uzzy, how you doing tonight, my man?
I'm doing okay, Frank. I'm doing okay.
Hey, I got to thank you again for coming here and joining us. Again, you know, as I mentioned, you're one of the most charismatic figures in boxing, in British boxing. I know a lot of people here in the UK. I'm sorry, the United States, they're aware of you as well, but we wanted to get you on here to, get the exposure out there, let people know who Uzzy is. And, first and foremost, man, I got to ask you like this. Where do you get the charisma for the walkout? You come out and you dance, you get the crowd all pumped up, you got a huge following. A lot of fighters don't do it. A lot of fighters come out stale, tired, they come out too serious. You come out loosen up, having fun. Where did you get that from? Where did you get the move?
I'm not sure what it is. When I used to be a young lad, I always used to be like a hyper kid. And when I was growing up, obviously, I was quite interested in boxing. And then, obviously, Prince Naseem Ahmed, which I know most of the people have heard about.
One of the greatest.
So, he's the one that probably started off with these big entrances. And I was looking at him, and I thought, that seems like me. I wouldn't mind doing that kind of stuff when I turned pro and that stuff. And it just started from there. I had a lot of confidence in me, and it's just like a lot of people like the ring walks, a lot of promoters put you on shows, a lot of people want to come and watch here, and it's a different way of me for controlling my nerves, because then I'm not thinking about the fight while I'm going towards the ring, and once I'm in the ring, then it's all about fight time.
And when it's fight time, and I got to say this, Uzzy, I've seen over a handful of your fights. You're all action. You're one of the more exciting fighters. Again, you're in the lower weight, in the flyweight, super flyweight division throughout your career. Pure excitement. And I want to tell people, if you hadn't had an opportunity to see him fight, I know there's some of your fights on the internet and stuff like that. And I got to give it to you. You come out, you entertain the crowd. People love you and people hate you. I got to ask you like this. Obviously, the love that you get. I see that on Twitter. I see that on Facebook. You accept it. You got some of the best fans in the world, but also coming with it, a lot of people give you a lot of hate because you're confident. Some people see it as cockiness. Some people see it as, they might call you an ass or something because you're too cocky. You come out dancing. How do you handle negativity from fans, media, and stuff like that?
What is you're going to get negative. Every person gets negative. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. There's people that are world champions who are amazing fighters. There's people that are undefeated fighters. Even they get a stick. Even people like good as world champions, Prince Naseem, Mike Tyson, Ahmed Khan, all these lot still get stick. So I don't really bother me. Regarding people hating me, the main people that actually are hating me, that don't really know much about boxing, and they're just seeing that video that was edited on YouTube. See, a lot of people don't know that the video on YouTube, which is hitting nearly 8 million hits, is actually an edit version. It's not exactly the same fight. It's actually joined together from 2 different fights.
Oh.
Where I'm coming in with a big entrance, and then I got knocked out in the first round. Obviously, there are 2 completely different fights. The entrance actually belongs to a fight when I fought a guy called Chris Edwards for British and Commonwealth belts, live on Sky Sports, which I lost on after 12 rounds on points. The actual entrance belongs to that fight. Then I got knocked out against Sexton a year later in the last 20 seconds of the first round. And then somebody took the entrance from the Chris Edwards fight and joined up with a knockout fight, making it look like it's one fight. So a lot of people assume coming, dancing, and giving you all large and everything and doing a long entrance, and I got knocked out in the first 5 seconds, which is not correct. And a lot of people don't realize that it's actually 2 different fights and it's all edited.
See that, and that, you know, that's the messed up thing on that. I mean, look, I'm a firm believer, Uzzy, in any publicity is good publicity. You know, good or bad publicity is good. Had 8 million people that've seen the video. Look, it was a mistake in that fight. That was the first time, really, in your career you were ever knocked out. I know in your last fight there was I'm not really sure it was counted as, I think, a technical knockout loss. But that was the first time in your career. I mean, a lot of people will go in and say, oh, Uzzy has no chin. That was just one of those spots. I mean, look, it's British fighters who have gotten caught on the chin in their career. Lennox Lewis, David Price, David Hay, Amir Khan. It happened. It's boxing. That's what it's all about. You got caught on the chin, and that's what they make light of it. I understand. Again, I'm not going to take it away. I think you're one of the best prospects in the UK, one of the most talented, one of the most crowd-pleasing and exciting fighters. I wish a lot of people, not just in the UK, here in the United States, Canada, all over the world, would fight the way you fight. So, you know, to all the people that ridicule Uzzy, they need to do something better with their life. But no, actually, no, don't do something. Keep hating on him. Keep the views coming. Yeah. Keep tuning in. See what he does next. He's the man. You're the man, Uzzy. That's all I got to say, bro.
Yeah, that's true. What is it? A lot of people don't know the facts. They obviously see the video, they don't know my career and everything, how everything goes on. Obviously, when I got knocked out, that was the first time I've actually been even dropped. I've never been, in my 15-year boxing career, before that fight, I've never been dropped, I've never been knocked out, I've never been stopped. And another main fact is, I'm actually a flyweight. I'm not a super flyweight. I'm actually a flyweight, but I'm a small flyweight because I walk around at 8 stone and I fight at 8 stone. And the biggest problem in my career is when you weigh in a day before, on the day of the fight, everybody goes back up and puts about a stone on. So most of the fighters I'm fighting, they're near of 9 stone or over. And I'm still 8 stone on the fight night, so I am giving away nearly a stone to every fight I'm fighting.
Now, do you
think your weight or your walkout, you probably lose about 2 pounds when you walk out for 25 minutes.
No. I think the walk. One of them walkout was quite actually the walk on YouTube. That was a really long walkout, but majority of them not really that long walk anyway. But the fact is, I am. That's what I am. That's what I do, and that's what's actually made me. I had fights. I have been doing this from the beginning of my career, and I had a few more fights after that knockout, and I'm still walking in the same way I walked in before.
Yeah, as I said, here my co-host Mike Doss just joined us. He was the one who said you probably lost a couple pounds or a stone on the walkout. But now it's my co-host Michael Doss is here, Uzzy. Mike, you there, bro?
Hey,
hello, how you doing, mate? You okay?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I wanted to kind of touch on your the Sexton fight. And you talked about the weight. This guy clearly was a bigger guy in the ring against you. But now, I mean, he's fighting. He fluctuates. I mean, his 2 fights ago, he was at 133. 130, and then he fights again, for the EBU bantamweight belt at 117. I mean,
true.
Have you, just by talking about it, have you actually tried to get anywhere with the BBC, with with anybody about the weigh-ins the day before the fight? I mean, I know here in the States we do the same thing, but it's starting to be a problem.
Yeah, it is a problem. The problem is the minimum weight in the UK is a flyweight. I wouldn't really be fighting a flyweight. If I was in America, I'd probably be fighting at a light flyweight. Because I'm not actually a big guy, because I walk around 8 stone. So while everybody's boiling down the weight, I'm trying to eat and try to maintain my 8 stone limit. But the biggest problem is when it comes to on the day of the fight, I am still 8 stone or 7 stone, 13 pounds, while I'm fighting people who are 9 stone. One example is Sexton. Sexton told us that on the day of the fight, he was exactly 9 stone, while I was 7 stone, 13 pounds on the 8 stone. And I think that was a big reason which he landed a good punch, and my body couldn't take it, and he just knocked me out.
Well, you talk about that not being the walkout, the actual walkout for the Sexton fight. Is every walkout pretty much like, the Chris Edwards fight, or do you kind of tame it down some? I haven't saw your walkouts.
No.
Do they always?
No. They're not always as the same walkout. Obviously, I do walkout, and they're a bit more calm. And I think it was the reason that walkout was a bit extra is because I was fighting for the British and Commonwealth titles. I was actually a main event on live on Sky Sports, and it was my big first 2 title fight I was fighting. And I don't know, it was just the moment. The crowd around me. I was the main event. I just went a bit of extra on top, but I do entrances in my every fight, but they're not as them. They're just a bit more calmer and all them stuff. Most of my entries are actually on YouTube. I had about 3 fights after the knockout fight, because the knockout fight happened in 2010, and them entries are also on YouTube if anybody wants to look at them.
You know what, though, Ross, you speaking on the Chris Edwards fight, I mean, I got to give you props. Uzzy, I got to give you major props on this and respect, because in just your 8th professional fight, you went 12 rounds. I mean, I don't think there's many fighters that don't come from, gold medal, that don't medal at the Olympics, who are, ready. We got a fighter from Cuba who fights here in the States named Guillermo Rigondeaux, he's a world champion. I think what's he 10-0, Doss, 11-0, and he's fought 12-round fight. I think his first 12-round fight in his 7th or 8th. So I give you props, Uzzy, for going 12 rounds when you did. I mean, that just shows you the type of condition how fit you are to compete in this sport.
Yep, I was obviously. I did feel really tired because before that fight, I never did more than 6 rounds before. So from a 6-rounder to a 12-rounder, it was a big step. But especially against a guy who I knew was going to be much heavier than me on the day of the fight. But I always had a lot of confidence and a lot of pride. And before that, so I kept going, and because it kept me going, because I've never been stopped before that, I've never been dropped. So I was getting hit with a lot of punches, but I kept coming back because it was my pride and everything. And I did last 12 rounds on points, and but that was that stepped up my level, and that was a really good fight, which everyone hasn't seen, which the entrance actually belongs to that fight. So if anybody hasn't seen the actual fight, I would recommend them to go on YouTube and watch Usman Ahmed versus Chris Edwards, and then they will see more about what Uzzy Ahmed is really about.
Yeah, I want to ask you about some other Pakistani fighters fighting out of England. You got a guy that's just started his career, has 5 fights. He's actually been calling you out in the same weight division. A Pakistani fighter that lives in the UK, Lewis Norman. So what are your thoughts about him, and what are your thoughts about him calling you out?
Oh, it's all about, as I said, he is calling me out. I know him, I met him a few times before, and he's calling me out probably because he needs me, because I'm a much bigger name. I fought for British title, I fought for Commonwealth title, I fought for English title. So he's trying to get a fight with me to do a step up. Obviously, I'm looking at more bigger things, trying to find for more bigger fights. So I don't really need to fight him, but I fight anybody, anywhere. Obviously, I'm not the one that makes the fights. Everybody knows regarding my career, I fought the best in the UK, and I fight anybody, anywhere. It's my management team that makes the decision, and if they think I should fight him, I will fight him anytime. I've got no fear with nobody.
Well, there is an influx of a lot of Pakistani, fighters fighting out of the UK, fighting from the UK. With Pakistani heritage, you got, Amir Khan, definitely. You've got Haroon Khan. He just made his pro debut not long ago. What do you think about, Haroon Khan, and what do you think about Amir Khan now, and what do you think he can still do in boxing?
Regarding, first of all, Ahmed Khan, I always rated Ahmed Khan really high. He's got so fast speed, he's so good, he's so talented, he works hard, and I personally think that he will be a world champion again. Ahmed Khan is a really, really good fighter, so I do rate Ahmed Khan really a lot at a high level. You do get, obviously, here, you get a few losses here, and it happens in boxing. You get hit by a good shot. People with amazing chins get hit by a good shot, they will go down. But majority of the people, it's not about how good your chin is, it's how good your defense is, which a lot of fighters don't get hit that clean, so they're able to take more punches more better. But anybody, it doesn't matter which fighter you are, how good you are, you get hit clean on the chin, it's going to cause a very serious problem. So I still rate Ahmed Khan. He's a bit of better trainer with Virgil Hunter, which is who trains Andre Ward, and Andre Ward is a really good defensive fighter. So Ahmed Khan will learn more defensive moves. He's got amazing attack, and as he said in his interviews himself, that he's got amazing attack. He just needs to work on a bit on his defense and then get hit with clean shots. So once he improves on his defense, he'll be a really, really top fighter.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, you got guys like Amir Khan and yourself, and a lot of the Pakistani, fighters of Pakistani heritage that fight out of the UK. It seems like when they get hit, they want to get into a fight. You talked about defense, and that's one thing. But when Amir Khan, it's like he kind of gets hit, and then he wants to get into a street fight, even though he has the talent to do that. And I've even seen that in your fight. Is it kind of a pride thing as well with your heritage? When you get punched, you want to fight automatically.
No, it is a pride thing, but it's not exactly a pride thing. I think it's more to what have you been doing in your whole career, how you've been fighting in your whole career. Obviously, Ahmed Khan has been, since his amateurs, he's always been an attacking fighter. If you look at his beginning of his career, he liked throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations, and he's never been like a single punch counter puncher. He's always been like an attacking fighter. So I think when he gets in a bit of under pressure or he gets hit or something, I think the way to come back is he tries to fight and throw a lot of punches, tries to pull punches in bunches. But with that, he leaves the chin open and then he gets hit by really clean punches. And if you're fighting a really, really good fighter who's also a good puncher, then it's like you ask, if you not got a good defense, then you get hit by good punches against these talented fighters, you're going to get hurt. So he is obviously learning. He is showing a bit of improvement or sign of defense, and he just needs to manage to control it all the way through from start to the end, instead of just doing it for 8, 9, 10 rounds, and then in the later rounds it just goes back to square one again, and then which could cause him to fight, like his fight against Diaz. His fight against Diaz, he was doing amazing for the first few rounds, wouldn't letting Diaz come close to him, picking his shots, picking his points, and then last 2, 3 rounds when he got a bit tired, he tried to fight with him, and he started working on some big shots, and it was causing, he wobbled a bit, hurt him a few times, but the bottom line is he survived and he managed and he won the fight. To me, I think he boxed really well apart from the last 2, 3 rounds.
Hey, thanks, Uzzy.
But Uzzy, I want to ask you this question. You're over in the UK. I mean, I think you mentioned that if you fought here in the UK, you'd be a light fly. I mean, here in the United States, you'd be a light flyweight. I got to ask you this: who are some of the fighters here in the United States that you enjoy watching?
I don't really watch too much. I don't really watch too much boxing myself. I don't really watch too much boxing. I'm not into watching boxing fights and watching everybody fighting. And but I can remember. I can't remember if he was a live flyweight, but when I started, unless he was a flyweight, his name was, I think, I can't remember his first name. Somebody asked here, what was his exactly name? Something.
What was it? What was the last
They used to call Arcia. Was it Arcia?
Oh, Jorge Arce. Jorge Arce.
Yeah. I think they used to call him the king of flyweights.
Yeah.
Who he just lost to Dunea.
Yes. But he was great warrior. Great warrior.
Yeah. I used to watch his fights, and I used to like him quite a lot. And he was a good fighter. Then obviously he moved up a weight and he fought Dunea, and then obviously we got beaten by Dunea. But I used to watch him at a flyweight. Did he used to box at flyweight?
Yes, he did. He boxed flyweight. I think he was junior flyweight, super flyweight, bantamweight. Went all the way up to featherweight, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he fought a lot of the divisions. Yeah. Yeah.
I used to watch him fight, and I used to rate him quite highly. And he's mainly the only person I really used to watch. And if I did watch, but I don't really watch that much boxing myself.
Did you get a chance to see the big fight this weekend that happened in London? Carl Froch and Froch-Kessler too. Did you get a chance to see that one?
Yeah. I seen that. I did see that fight. That was a really good fight. It was going toe to toe, but I think it wasn't as better the first fight. I think the first fight was a bit much better than the second fight. I think the second fight Kessler started a bit late. It started really slow, and he was losing. I think he was 4-0 or 5-0 rounds down. I think it was 4-0 rounds down at the beginning. Then I think he pulled it back the next 2 rounds, and then Froch was leading away. So I think he didn't cause too much trouble to Froch, apart from probably them few rounds.
Yeah, it was. I agree with you on that. I thought, he still put on a good performance. Sometimes when it's a good fight, the second fight, isn't always as good. And I got to ask you one more question, Uzzy. When do you hope to return to the ring? Do you believe you'll be back in the ring within the next couple months?
Yeah, but obviously I have been. I had a fight in November time, which I won. Then I had a fight in February time, which I won. And I'm just in the process of trying to put a bit of weight on my trainer. I spoke to my trainer, Dominic Ingold, because I moved with Ingold's now. It's been about a year since I moved to Ingold's, Brendan Ingold Gym, the famous Brendan Ingold Gym. So I'm just in my trainer's going to give me like a 8-week nutritionist plan where I should be putting about 8 to 10 pounds on. And just in a process of bulking up, and hopefully if I can put about 8 to 10 pounds on, then I'll be fighting people, fighters similar weight to me, than giving too much weight away on the day. And hopefully in about beginning of July or July time, I should be back in the ring.
I'm looking forward to seeing that, and hopefully before when you hear that you have a fight, we can get you on before your fight. Talk about you and your next opponent. I just want to encourage everybody listening right now. You can follow Uzzy on Twitter at Usman Ahmed 1. Uzzy Ahmed 1. Uzzy Ahmed 1, the number 1 on Twitter, and you can also find him on Facebook. Usman Ahmed on Facebook, just USMAN AHMED. Anywhere else? I know you. Like I said, the reason why we were looking forward to having you on the show, Uzzy, is you're one of the most exciting fighters there in the UK, and it's definitely a big star in there. You become a big star from your YouTube videos, from your walkouts, and your fighting style, man. And here on the show, man, we support you 100% here on ATG Radio, and we look forward to a lot more from you from the future. Hopefully, in the future as well, you can share a lot more stuff with us like you did this evening.
Yeah, definitely. And I would like to give a big shout out for ATG Radio for having me on the radio station, and obviously letting me mention everything about me, which people don't know much about me, so they got a bit more understanding that what goes on in my career and what happens, and regarding the videos. So I appreciate for you having me on the radio.
Champ, it's our pleasure, Uzzy. We really do appreciate it. And, like I said, we look forward to you being back on the show again in the future. Do you have any final words out there for your fans and obviously for your haters? Any final words?
Okay. I'm just going to say to everybody, just keep watching. The King of the Ring walks. He's going to carry on walking like a king, and he's going to be fighting like a king.
That's what I'm talking about. Uzzy, we appreciate your time, my friend. Thanks again for joining us. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Thank you very much, man. Cheers. Thank you.